What's up, everyone? It's Dustin, your Vegas-born realtor. So you're thinking about buying a home, whether it's your first home or your fifth home, and you find the home that you absolutely love. Well, instead of going to your realtor and having them negotiate the contract and the terms and everything for you, you decide go directly to the seller and you tell them, hey, I love your home, I want it, but I want you to write the contract. I want you to choose the price, the terms, the closing cost credit that you may be giving me, and the timeline. And then tell me what I need to do along the transaction until we close. That sounds pretty crazy, right? Most people would not typically do that because you are losing so much. You might be paying more for the property than you should be. You might not be getting a closing cost credit from the seller or a very small one, and your timelines might be really tight and you're scrambling to meet those. So there's a lot of things that you could be missing out on. So then why are people doing this when buying a new home from the builder? Because that's essentially what you're doing. A lot of people walk into the model home and meet with the sales rep, go look at the home, and decide to go into contract. Now, what a lot of people might not know is that sales rep works directly for the builder. They are looking out for the builder's best interest before yours because they don't technically represent you. You will even sign forms saying that they represent the builder, not you. And so you may not be getting the best price for the home. You might be getting, what they're offering rather than being able to negotiate and get a lower price. You might be getting just the incentives that they're offering, and that's it, which may not be terrible, but you've also never maybe purchased a new build and you're not familiar with all the different stages of construction and the different steps along the way. And so you're just relying on the builder's rep to walk you through everything. Why are people doing this? Because you would think, okay, well, I would go purchase a new home and make sure I have my realtor with me then. So why are people not doing that? Well, a few reasons that I've heard is a lot of people, number one, don't know that they can actually use their own realtor when buying a new home. They think that they have to go directly to the builder, and it's a different process than buying a resale home. Well, actually, most reps and builders already expect you to have your own realtor ahead of time. They even have signs outside their office saying to make sure you have your realtor present with you on your first showing of these homes. And when you come to the model homes and you meet with the sales reps, they're expecting that you already have a realtor. So that's not necessarily the case. You can have your own realtor and it's perfectly fine. They expect it. Number two, if I am buying a new home and I'm not having the sales rep handle the contract and I'm using my own realtor, well, then I have to pay them a commission. So it's costing me more money out of my pocket. That's actually not the case. The builder is paying your agent's commission the same way as buying a resale home. And it's not coming out of your pocket. It's not costing you anything extra. If anything, it's saving you money because your realtor is able to help negotiate extra things. So maybe the builder's offering $8,000 in a closing cost incentives. Sounds great. Well, your realtor might be able to help you get an extra couple thousand. So they might be able to get you $10,000, $12,000, and now you're saving money out of your own pocket. So having your own realtor is not costing you money. It's actually saving you money. Now, with that being said, you can't have just any realtor representing you on a new home. You want somebody who is experienced in it, because if you have someone who's not experienced in new home sales, it might be the same deal that you're getting if you just went in there on your own and signed the contract with the representative that's in that model home in that sales office. Having an experienced realtor who knows what they're doing in new homes is where it really matters, because now you are able to negotiate money off the price, extra closing cost incentives, maybe a washer, dryer, refrigerator, extra upgrades in the home at no extra cost to you. So having the right realtor who's experienced in new homes is really what's going to matter. Not just having a realtor, but having someone who's experienced. Now, number three reason I've heard, well, it's a new home. There's not a whole lot to it. So I don't really need the assistance or the help with buying it. I can go there myself, look at it, sign the contract. Maybe myself, I can negotiate a little bit extra from the builder and do it myself. It's easy. And it's not necessarily the case, because there is a lot that goes into building a home. And so the whole process from start to finish, there's a lot of steps. And if you're not familiar with it, then there are things you can be missing out on. Now the builder will tell you, hey, this is gonna be your framing walk. Here's gonna be, the walk that we're gonna do. Then we're gonna do your final walkthrough after we find anything that needs to be repaired and we go through that. But again, that rep is not looking out for your best interest necessarily. They're not trying to screw you over, but their main focus is the builder. That's who pays them, and their job is to sell homes for that builder. So having a realtor who's experienced is going to be huge. They're going to help you with, here's, this stage, here's what's going to happen. Stage 2, here's what's going to happen, the different walks that you're going to do, and also recommending that you do a home inspection. The builder is not going to recommend doing a home inspection. They might mention it. You're going to sign a form that says, I am doing a home inspection, I'm not doing it, but they're not going to be, advocating for you to do a home inspection. I'm going to be highly advocating that you get a home inspection. A lot of people will say, well, why am I going to spend, $300-400 to get a home inspection? It's a brand new home. There's nothing wrong with it. No one's lived here. And that is absolutely not the case. All of my clients who buy a new home do a home inspection because they take my recommendation on it. And 90% of the time we find issues. And some of these issues are major. You find issues with the HVAC, the plumbing, electrical, maybe things weren't installed correctly, there was faulty wiring, something was missing on it and it wasn't caught. Well, okay, it was, it's kind of working. There could be issues now, there could be issues later, but if you're not doing a home inspection, you're not finding out those issues until later on, maybe months or years down the road, and now you're having to deal with it at that time. Whereas you could deal with it right now. And the cool thing is, when you do a home inspection, the builder, you're notifying them, and so they're aware that you're doing it, and they ask, hey, when you get the report, send us over the report, and then they actually go through it and fix all those items on the report. So if there was an issue with the HVAC, if there was debris on the roof, if there was roof tiles that were not installed correctly, they're gonna fix those before you do your final walkthrough and before you close. So it is a huge, huge advantage for you buying a new home and doing a home inspection. Because again, like I said, 90% of the time, there are things that need to be repaired or corrected. So don't skip out on the home inspection when you're buying a new home. And that's another thing that's great about having a realtor, because if they're experienced, they're going to be recommending that to you and they're going to be helping you with that process. And with that being said, there is so much more that goes into it, but of course I'm not going to dive into every little detail, and you guys are going to start getting bored and your mind's going to drift off. So if you are thinking about buying a new home, whether it's in Las Vegas or another state, city, reach out to me. I would love to be your resource in this process. And if you do live in the Las Vegas area, or you're thinking about buying a home in the Las Vegas area, reach out to me. I'd love to help represent you on a new home and make sure you're getting taken care of. Let's get you some extra money off the price, some extra incentives, and make it a great purchase for you. Because again, you are buying a home, you're getting a mortgage for hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars out of your own pocket. So why not do it correctly and even save yourself a few thousand in the end? Because if you're buying a new home, you might want some new furniture, or also you got to landscape your backyard. So if you could save money, that's money you can put into those things and have an overall better transaction and better experience. My information is in the description down below. Reach out, love to talk to you, love to go over what you're thinking, what your plans are, and make it happen for you. Bye.